Hi y'all, it's Andrea over at sewspire.com, and today I am here with recipe 6. We are continuing to work on what I am calling the utility tote. Today we're going to craft the exterior of this bag using the same construction method that we did last week to craft the interior, and that is what I commonly refer to as the T method. So the first part of this video will be a refresher for those of you who have not yet tried the T method of bag construction, and or a opportunity for our new viewers to get acquainted with this type of bag making. In addition to that, we are also going to be crafting the straps for this bag, and I have been simmering on this for some time now, and I finally settled on the standard 1.5 inch fabric strap layered with some 1 inch cotton webbing, and I am very happy with the final product here. So I'm going to show you how to craft that strap. Then I have 2 special packages to open up from SewSpire patrons who have sent little gifts. And so I have no idea what's inside, so that's fun for us both. So that's going to happen in this video, as well as keeping with our ongoing tradition of looking through my design book. Let's begin by crafting the exterior of our utility tote. You'll remember we created the piped side pockets. These side panels measure 6 by 15. There is a full tutorial on how to get this look, and you can find the links for all of the recipes in the notes below. And then we have 2 of those side panels. Then we have 2 of the body panels, which will comprise the front and the rear of the bag. Also, again, recipes for this process as well. And then the base of the bag is 6 by 18, and I did go ahead and add just some fun random quilting to that to give it a little more interest and some texture as well, and I used quilt batting on the back of that. So to begin with the T method, I like to attach the sides first. I do have one of the side panels already attached, so I'm just going to position the second side panel right side spacing on top of that front body panel. And in this case, I want to try and align the side of that pocket so that it's very similar to the side that I've already attached, and I'm just looking for a marker there. For me, it's going to be that top row of top stitching, and I'm just going to center that piping with that so that the bag looks even when I am wearing that. And then to attach that side panel to the body panel, I will be using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. I'm pretty consistent with that seam allowance for any interior seams. So I'm just going to stitch along that side to attach the side panel, and that is the same thing that I have done with the one that is already attached. And that worked out pretty good for me. I like that look. Then with your remaining body panel, which in this case I'll call the rear body panel, you will attach the base panel to the bottom of that, and you just align the side of the base panel with the base of that body panel, and then using the same 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, attach that. And that's what that looks like. And then you take that panel and align that long side of the base with the base of the body panel that has your side panels attached to it. And then again, using the same 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, I'm going to stitch from seam to seam, and I can feel those seams here with my fingertips. My batting was slightly smaller on both of these panels, so that's the difference you're seeing. With the 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, I will still end up capturing it all. Okay, and I have attached that. And then now when you unfold this, you should have something that looks like a giant T, hence the T method. And then the next step is to take the side of the side panel and align that with the side of the opposite body panel. And again, I'm just going to try and have that piping on the pocket fall right at center on the top stitching of that exterior pocket. So take your time aligning all of this. And then once you get everything pinned in place, you will stitch down the right and the left hand sides to attach those to the body panel. And then before I start sewing, I like to look inside and just make sure that everything is aligned as I imagined. And this panel over here looks a smidgen low to me, so I'm just going to bump that up just a bit. Okay, I have attached the sides of the side panels and everything looks good from this vantage point. Now I need to close up the holes that remain at the base of the side panels and the side of the base panel. And so I'm just going to align that by pulling on either side and then stitching seam to seam. Okay, and now I'm just going to turn this right side out so you can see how that looks. And when turning your bag around, go ahead and take care to poke out those corners at the base. So fun. And this bag has a lot of body to it as a result of the piping and the quilt batting. I really like the look. It's a lot of fun. Those pockets, the angle on that adds a lot of interest, as does the piping at the base. The only other thing that I would do to this exterior before folding the edges inward in preparation for fitting the interior is trim away the excess seam allowance approximately 3 or 4 inches in from the top. You do not need to trim all of that away. In fact, I suggest that you don't, because as you use the bag and wash the bag, we want to have a lot of room for shrinkage and such. So I'm just going to trim those up, and the trimming will just reduce the bulk at the fold so that you don't have any trouble stitching this all in place. And basically that's it there. And the next step is to fold that top edge over approximately an inch and just pin that in place. I like to start at the sides, and then once I have those situated, then I work my way around the top perimeter of the bag. And I gotta admit, it's cuter than I thought it was gonna be. It's pretty amazing how once you start assembling it, it does take on an entirely different look. So I have the exterior ready. I'm really excited to see what it looks like and how much body it has. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the interior and fit that in there now so we can really get a better feel for the stability and the look of the whole bag. All right, so this is the interior, which we finished in the last tutorial. Again, those links are down in the notes. This is the 6th video in this whole process. So there are instructions for every single step. So you just review and take what you like and leave the rest. Now for the interior, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to fold over that top edge approximately an inch. Because I do not have the quilt batting, I can press that with my nail. And then when you're happy with that, go ahead and insert that into the exterior. This bag is really generously sized. I am so looking forward to filling it up. I begin on the sides there and I align those side seams, and I'm just going to use the pins that are already in the exterior. And then once I have the sides aligned, I can move around the bag and align the front and the back of the lining with the exterior. The interior adds a lot of stability, even though it doesn't have any interfacing or batting, but the layers on the pocket are sufficing, and each layer, you know, is like another 2x4 in the frame. So it does, as you can see, stand alone just by putting that interior in there. It is still flexible and will largely take the shape of the contents, which will also add more stability to it. You could pack it flat to travel, but it really does have a lot of substance to it. Okay, so the next step is to craft the handles, which again look like this. They are made from a piece of cotton fabric, which is 6 inches wide by 30 inches long. I have a standard strap making method, which you will use to begin this. You just fold that in half long ways and press. Then open that up and bring those raw edges inward to meet on that center press line and press. And then fold that over to align the folded edges, and you have a strap. Normally I would use batting or interfacing in that center channel. In this case I am not using that. If you have a heavy duty machine, you probably could use a light stabilizer in that, but it is not necessary. This strap has plenty of stability and body by adding the webbing. So the next step is to stitch down the open edge of the strap and then down the folded edge of the strap. I'm using a very narrow seam allowance, maybe 1/4 of an inch, actually closer to 1/8 of an inch to stitch the strap. And now I have a very simple cotton strap, and I want to take the like-sized piece of 1-inch cotton webbing and center that on the strap. And if you need, you can pin it in place. I was able to center that and just hold it and stitch as I go, nice and slow. And I'm just going to stitch down the right and then the left hand side of that webbing to attach it to the strap. Okay, and now I have 2 awesome straps ready to go, and I am going to go ahead and position those on the bag so that I have a way to move this around and I can hold it up for you. And so I want to position those approximately 3.5 inches from the side seam. And you can adjust as needed. And I just tuck that raw edge of the handle in between the interior and the exterior layers, approximately 3.5 inches from each side. And this should give me a nice handle drop there that's comfy with or without a jacket. It's coming in at right about 12 inches and a nice space there in between. Again, because this bag is likely to be a heavy bag when it is fully loaded, it's nice to have those comfy wide straps. And then on the other side, you should go ahead and measure, because you can never be certain that everything is aligned, and you wouldn't want one strap to be too much longer or mispositioned on the bag. So do take the time to measure on both sides, and then after you have measured, then you can pick up the bag and adjust as needed. But again, woo, super cute. I am really, really excited to get this bag into action. It's really fun. Okay, so that is all that we're going to do for today on the utility tote. In next week's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to craft a zipper top closure for this. If you did not want the zipper top closure, you could definitely just stitch all the way around the top, reinforce the handles, and have an awesome bag. But since I have put so much time and effort into this project, I think the zipper top is in order. So we will go ahead and do that next week. Now I want to bring over the mail that I told you about, open that up, and then give you a look through my design book. Okay, so I have two boxes. This first big box here is from Deborah, and she is a SewSpire patron. No worries, friends, these are not my good scissors. Okay, gorgeous card. And it says, I hope your birthday is so much fun. Aw, thank you, Deborah. Super, super cute. Enjoy your day and all the days to come. Keep up the great work. This card is really sweet. And then on the inside, another little note. Dear Andrea, here is the fabric I wanted you to see. Additionally, I enclosed a piece of my handle so you can see how I handled that. There is also a small swatch of the bottom fabric vinyl I used for my stowaway bag. I hope you'll enjoy the fabric enough to try them out. The gray vinyl has essentially the same properties as the brown. Deborah. And stunning stationery as well. Thank you, Deborah. Okay, and then we have, she is a really wonderful packer. More styrofoam and packing in there. So I'm going to set that aside, and then there is a fun box here which is sewn up. How adorable is that? Okay, and it's very loosely, so I'm just going to give a little snip there. So clever, Deborah. Okay, really, really pretty. Aw, this is so beautiful. Hope, dream, inspire. I really like that, Deborah. Thank you. Okay. And then on the inside, this is the fabric swatches that she was talking about. She recently completed a stowaway bag in AMC. Ooh, that is nice, Deborah. Wow. And she was trying to explain to me what that handle was like. And looky here, Deborah was sewing her handles like what we just did beforehand, and I must have subconsciously remembered that from our time together in AMC. So kudos to Deborah for giving me the idea for the handle. Her webbing is not cotton though. It feels more like a synthetic type of webbing. It has a nice sheen on it, but that fabric on the back is fascinating, Deborah. It's like a very thin corduroy, really soft and lovely, and as is this vinyl for the base. I will definitely be checking those out at my local Joann's. Let's see what's inside here. Oh, yay! Look at this. This is great. This could be for our next Sew Spire bag. Oh, that is so wonderful, Deborah. This really is such a good packer. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Fabulous. Now it is not a corduroy. Now that I see a bigger piece of it, it definitely has a coating on the back. It is so unique, this fabric. But look at how gorgeous. Really, really pretty. I am so excited to work with this, Deborah. Thank you so much. And for the beautiful box too. And I definitely feel like I could completely repurpose this beautiful fabric as well. So thank you, Deborah. I'm just gonna pick this up and then we're gonna see what Kathy sent. This is from my friend Kathy, who you will remember is also a Sew Spire patron. She just returned from Australia and she said this is something she got in Australia. And she is also our Sew Spire friend who is collecting the tote bags for Australia. And we have had a wonderful response to that. So I want to thank you all for helping Kathy and helping our friends in Australia. Now without further ado, let's get inside this package. Oh wow, I'm already excited. Cool. How fun. Okay, a little card from Kathy. Oh, how precious. Kathy says, thank you. Nice card. And she says, just a note to thank you for all you do and some pieces of Australian fabric to play with. I love the Aboriginal prints and nature wildlife prints and hope you can make something fun. And then it says, you are fabulous, Kathy. Thank you so much, Kathy. Okay, these are really fabulous. Ooh, gorgeous. Look at this fabric. So fun. Kathy, thank you. Really, really pretty. This one, wow. So pretty. This one is really, really soft too. Stunning. And I do feel like this would look so pretty with the vinyl that Deborah sent too. So thank you both ladies. That was so generous of you and so thoughtful. I am often asked for my shipping address. I am going to also include a link in the notes for you as well. If you have fabric that is special, just like this Australian fabric or the fabric that Deborah sent that is very unique, and you would like to share some of that with me, I would be so grateful, because with the weekly tutorials, I can always use more fabric, as you might imagine. And I know so many of you have huge stashes of fabric. So if you feel called to share, you are welcome to do that, and I will be sure to give you credit in a future video as well. And you know, I am so grateful for everything that you all send me. It means so much to me to know that you do appreciate the content that I'm creating And so I really sincerely thank you. And next up is the look through my design book. Again, I was a little more productive this week, so I love that. Let me find out where we left off. All right, got the page. I want to mention to you, this week I am trying something new. Rather than the packing tape, which has a high sheen on it, I am using clear, transparent magic cover, and I believe this is also shelf liner, I think. So I got it at the dollar store, and that's what it looks like. It's inexpensive, but it works brilliant for this purpose, and I love how the fabric looks. I'm going to move down the camera so you can see a little better. So I got to make another binder slash planner cover. This is a completely new pocket configuration on the side, so that was fun. And this is designed to hold a planner or a spiral notebook, and then her phone, pens, and business cards. And sweet little fabric with that. And hopefully you can see that transparent tape doesn't have quite as much sheen. It's kind of like a matte finish there, but it encases the fabric. It feels really good, and it's laying nice and flat in the sketchbook. And then I had another planner cover. This was the tri-folding planner cover. This is the fourth one that's been recorded in the book. And it was from these two fabrics, and I am getting very good at sewing these now. I feel I finally have the design refined, and it's coming together nice. And then here I had one of my traditional planner covers, and I love this fabric, and you can see I was able to get the double spread with that, and that magic cover just folded seamlessly into the seam of the book. And then I had room here to journal a little bit about my work and this project. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the look through the design book. I will be back next week with the last recipe for the utility tote, and then we're going to be moving on to a new project. I want to give a special thanks again to Deborah and to Kathy for thinking of me and for sending along the fabric. I am so grateful. I am super excited to start working with it, and I suspect that you will see it in a future video very soon. So until then, as always, please know the creative genius in me will be celebrating the creative genius in you. Have a beautiful week, everyone.